There you go. Okay. Well, I guess we're a little early. All right, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, Chuck won't be here. He just got back late from a wedding that he had gone to, but he said that it might show up tomorrow to roost
Okay.
that tent.
Who's that, Chuck?
Chuck, yeah.
Yeah. I had to go over to Duke to get my annual eye exam, and there was a guy sitting next to me in the waiting room. I could have sworn it was Chuck, but he had a mask on. So I didn't want to act like a fool and say, "Are you Chuck?" Yeah. So
Well, I was walking through Harris Teeter's, and this guy was walking through there with a service dog. Something
yeah.
I didn't know what to make of it. Then after I packed my car up and I was putting the cart back, this car pulls up, window goes down. It's Timothy.
Oh, was it really?
He says, "I thought that was you in there." And I says, yeah, it's just one of those things where you just.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to say something and have it not be that person.
What the heck?
Hi, Sue. So, Bill, how many images did you get?
I don't know.
We'll find out when you put them up, right?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we got some.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that'd be good.
How many?
Probably about 12.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe 15.
Oh, okay.
Gotta take this one out of here. Move it to the back.
Actually, Larry, I saw you and your wife at Weaver Street, but you were sitting at a table. Some friends on Saturday.
Yeah, your mic's off, Larry.
Our son and his wife were there, and we just met up with them. That was sort of like they live in Durham, so it's kind of a halfway point. It was such a beautiful day, wasn't it?
Oh, Saturday.
was.
Yeah.
Saturday was amazing.
There we go.
Hey,
Hi,
Stephen.
Stephen.
Hi, folks. Good to see y'all.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
A little fuzzy here. I'm not quite sure why. That's all right. I'm a little fuzzy.
No, we'll try using the dehazer.
I just thought it was my eyes going.
Susan, do you know if Tom knows about the different link since he doesn't have
Yeah,
any?
he's actually, yeah. Actually, I just got a text from him. He and Alice are at the Star Party.
Okay.
So he won't be here today. Yeah, he does. And actually, we had I ran into him on Saturday, the same day I saw Larry, and Tom and I had an interesting discussion about the if the challenge was architecture or architectural. And so architectural, and you'll see one of my pictures. I don't know if I should have, anyway, okay. You'll see.
Well, never worry, because whenever I look up the definition of what sometimes the challenge is, we don't come close.
No, I'm guilty as much as anybody else. Yeah.
I mean, I think Vicky looked up the word architecture or architectural. I don't know which one, but I mean, it was like a whole process of, thought of putting it down to paper, to put it to a plan. Right. Now you're killing me.
Well, that way we can always take a broad interpretation then, you know?
Yep.
And I did, I don't know, I have, well, when we get to it, I have a feeling it's gonna be one of those pictures where somebody's gonna say, and why did you take that picture, Susan? But you'll see.
Yeah, take a picture of a flower. Yeah, it was the architecture was Mother Nature. Yeah.
That's right,
I
yeah.
was
Yeah.
gonna do a spider web and I couldn't find my good spider web picture.
Yeah.
I figured that would do.
You're all much more imaginative than I was. I struck out on thinking, what the hell is that gonna be? I said, well, I'll watch and learn. And
Stephen, where did you send it? Because
I
I didn't get
didn't
any.
send it. That's what I was saying, that
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I wasn't able
I
to
thought I
come up
missed
with,
something.
it seemed to be architecture enough to be worthwhile, but,
We're just one happy group here.
I know.
Okay. Has anybody talked to Timothy Dowdle lately? I wonder if Mike has heard from him.
I
wonder if
saw him a couple days ago.
Yeah, you
you
ran
saw
into it.
him?
Yeah, I ran
How-
into him at Harris Teeter's and it was just a real quick drive-by.
He didn't say anything about attending or not attending.
No,
I hope we haven't lost him.
Has anybody heard from Key Cab? Do you know what's
No.
going on?
I
No,
wrote him sometime in the spring and said, we miss you. We hope you haven't dropped out. And he did not respond. So I don't know what that means. He could be out of the country, or he could have changed his address, or he could have decided he didn't want to participate anymore. I don't know.
but I know, and the last
I
time we
did.
talked about it, I mentioned, I see him on Facebook quite a bit at that time. I haven't seen anything in a long time, you know, since then. So usually when he's traveling, he posts a lot.
He could be in Siberia. That was one of his favorite places, or Mongolia. I don't know. But I have not seen him around the village. Let me put it that way.
No. No.
Okay, who could we be missing that maybe I ought to email right quick and tell them about the link?
Where's Chuck? Is Chuck away?
Chuck's not going to be here. He emailed me. He just last night got back from a wedding or something like that.
Michelle, I didn't hear anything back from her. Well, at one point I thought, oh gee, I hope that email from the Chatham InFocus Gmail account got through to everybody, but there are 6 of us here now, so it did. But I
Who
think,
else comes regularly? We know about Tom, Chuck. We don't know about Michelle.
Bob, I haven't heard from.
Hmm?
Bob Seidel, I haven't heard from.
Oh, yeah.
And he sent me a couple
Images?
pictures.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is he doing better?
I'm sorry.
Bob-
Say again?
Is Bob doing better? I know he got COVID.
I haven't talked to him since the last meeting.
Okay, I'm gonna send him a email right quick with the link.
Okay.
Ooh, Amber Alert.
Always there? I've been getting a lot of those lately.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I appreciate you getting this more or less organized.
Well, the whole effort of organizing it is sending an email and saying, I'm going to be there. Anybody who wants to show up, show up.
Organization, yeah, thanks for the initiative.
Yeah, that's why I get paid so much to have this position.
We'll double your salary for next time.
I have to take my car in, so I won't see you.
We gotta have to organize something at night sometime to do some more, either light painting or nighttime photography again, because I think we had a pretty good time doing it that
We
one
did.
time.
I know, I had a great time.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even when we went down to the plant that time.
Yeah, that was fun.
Frank had talked about going over to, I'm typing and talking at the same time, so, but talked about going over to Yates Mill when the leaves get pretty, so, we got about a week more maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think that's what, one of the most photographed parts of Raleigh.
mhm.
I've been looking at how to cheat on full fall colors online. There's lots of good ways, it turns out, that you have it be fall in the middle of summer if you want to.
Yeah, just call Tom Marriott, he'll make it colorful. In ways that you couldn't imagine.
Okay, I've emailed Bob Seidel. Can you think of anybody else?
I'm just trying to think of who, well, obviously Mike and Lynn weren't gonna be here, so that, and then there was, thinking of who was there last week, and Bob was there. Tom was there, who we said isn't gonna make it, or we don't know. Chuck's not gonna make it. So, beyond that,
I believe.
we had 9 last time, so I don't think we're gonna have much more.
Okay, let's roll then.
Okay. It's recording.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna try to share a screen here.
Yeah, I gave everybody permission, so let's see how it comes up.
Yeah. My luck on this is fairly futile.
You're
Okay,
doing it.
there you go.
Yeah,
Okay. This one's Larry's.
Wow.
wow.
So this is the bridge in Astoria, Oregon, crossing the Columbia River, going over to Washington State.
Wow. I just
And
love the way it just pulls you into the photo, with the line curving around and then straight over to the other side. Talk about drawing your eye.
Mm. Yeah, the composition of that is superb.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is a green bridge. And,
it is a great bridge, isn't it? I'm looking at it, and I drove over that bridge a couple times, within the last year. And what's striking me is I never saw that view. It makes me a little bit insane that, I just don't see, beautiful things, and it's absurd. You go places to see beautiful things and you don't see them. It's
There it is.
there it
Well,
is. Yeah.
Stephen, we drove up on this little neighborhood up the hill, and
Yeah.
then we were coming down, and I've kind of got
Uh-huh.
lost. And then I saw off to my left, I saw the bridge, so we kept just inching down the street, and all of a sudden it appeared just like this in an open lot. So I jumped out and, well, I parked the
Yeah.
car, but
Well, good on you. Good on you.
Yeah. No, nice,
This
really
is-
nice image.
This is a tough thing to do that Larry did, because number one, you're on vacation, you could be with loved ones,
Mhm.
and there's more going on in your head than photography. But to be able to make that decision to say, hey, I'm going to stop here and do this, I can't tell you how many I've passed by.
Yeah.
So good job, Larry.
I also, I was looking at the bottom too. At first, I didn't notice that. And that also adds to it, the way that the bottom leaves are.
Yep,
Mhm.
it does.
Frames and everything is in focus from close to
Oh,
distant.
yeah, yeah, you got good focus all the way through. Do you remember what you had it set at?
I wrote it down. Where is it? Nope. I thought I wrote it down.
Yeah, see,
Sorry.
I don't know if I'd like it more without the plants in the foreground, because when you just did that, Bill, it took that out.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
other than
okay,
the-
yeah. Okay, yeah, like that. I don't know. I think the flowers do kind of balance it a bit.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
so.
All right,
Give it a base.
yeah. And it gets
Would
some of the, the like orangish color inside there.
Mhm.
And, a little off red and orange.
Mhm. Would I don't think so, but possibly dehazing a little bit make any difference, or is it just that it's a foggy, cloudy-ish day? Would dehaze help?
I don't know, if I were doing, I would try it and see how it looks. And then compare the two. You may want to stay with the original one, with that haziness.
Yeah, the bridge is quite. It doesn't need it, but I don't know. I would play. I think, like you said, Frank, I agree.
Wow.
That in itself would have
Incredibly
made a
sharp.
good image.
Incredibly sharp.
Nice.
Thank you. Apparently this is, and I don't even know what it means, but this is the longest steel truss bridge. And I don't even know what that means. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the widest of the Columbia River, and to the left it goes into the Pacific Ocean. So
Do you know how wide it was at that point?
no, but if you look across the river
Yeah.
and those hills, it's near a place called Fort Clatsop, which is named after an Indian Native American tribe, and that's where the Lewis and Clark expedition wintered. They built a fort across the way in the worst weather possible, and
Yeah.
they stayed there from November to April, which is terrible weather in that location. So they had a really miserable time.
Wow.
But that was 1804. So
Yeah, I think I've been to that fort years ago, back in the early 2000. My brother and I were out there, and I think we visited it.
yeah, Fort Clatsop
Yeah.
has a lot of history. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. There is a lot of history out there.
There's a little story. I mean, I don't know how much time I have. I don't want to consume a lot of space, but the area it's named Astoria because of Astor, the wealthy at that time was a wealthy fur trapper,
Hmm.
and he sold the furs into China from that location, and it the British sent a warship or so up the Pacific Ocean and wanted to attack for some reason. I guess it was after the War of 1812. Maybe it was during that period. Uh, uh, Astoria, and they found out that Astor sold Astoria to the British a year before. So when they arrived, they saw Union Jacks, and they couldn't figure it out. But I didn't know you could just sell, but I guess it was unincorporated. Obviously, it wasn't a state in 1804.
Right. It wasn't part of the Union.
1811. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Wow.
1811. Yeah. Anyway, that's just a bit of history. So we went down to Greenville, South Carolina, a couple of weeks ago, and went to this plaza. I don't know if you've been to Greenville in a while, but it's an incredible, beautiful city. And this was my idea of architecture. The buildings surrounding this square had this sculpture in the center of it, and I just said, "Wow, that looks really cool." So the sun had gone past the tower on the right, so I was able to get a decent shot. A little sunlight came through, but
Now, what are those, like sails?
yeah,
Yes.
there's sails. Hmm.
Yeah, I think it looks better without the the writing on the walls. You know, we have, yeah.
Bob Sidell says he can't get the link to open. Can someone else? Frank, could you email him?
Who is that?
Bob.
Bob, okay. I'll have to jump on it because I can't minimize this while it's recording, so I'll just
Okay.
resend it to him.
I've sent it to
What?
him. I did a screen snip of your email and sent it to him, but he replies that he can't get it to work.
I have my phone here, so I'll try to.
That'd be great. You will. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay. I'd like to get him in if we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have time. That's not gonna be a problem today.
Yeah, did you send it to him? I'm gonna go ahead and send it also.
Oh, if you
Okay, I
can
already
do it,
sent it
because I'm
once.
still looking.
Now, while I had my screen changed, I think the margins had changed. Okay. The margins changed. Before I was going to say something about Border Patrol over on the left, and I don't see it now.
Okay, let me give it a try.
But anyway, I think that's a fantastic picture.
Okay, I just sent it to him, so hopefully he can go in. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how
And I
everybody
sent him one
feels
too.
with not having the signage in it. Does anybody else?
I agree. By taking it out,
Yeah,
you're not distracted.
because I mean, it's such a great image. You can crop in closer and then get that the building with the sails in front of it.
Or you can just take the words out and just make it the same color as this overhang.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I agree. But I like the wires up top. There's a lot of visual interest in that shot.
A lot of a lot of lines going in every direction. It's great. Now, what was that? A Krispy Kreme?
No, I think that's I can't even read it. It's a pub, some kind of.
That's right. Yeah, because Krispy Kreme is a K, I think.
Yeah, if you were wanting to get rid of the letters, there's a remove tool in Lightroom now that works pretty well. I mean, you can make it as small as you want and just a one pass over and get rid of them. Photoshop has also a remove tool. It's simply better than the one in Lightroom for some reason. I don't know why they don't use the same one in both, but there's sometimes a little ghosting with the Lightroom one, and the Photoshop one just seems to kind of perfectly eliminate it and fill in whatever's the background.
Right.
Larry, do you use a Windows machine or Mac?
Mac.
I'm on a Mac.
Okay. I was going to say Windows has all of a sudden in their pictures added in photos, has added a pretty good retouch tool, which shocked me because they've taken everything else out. But it does a better job than Photoshop Elements as far as taking out something like that. So if anybody's using a Windows machine, just go that way and try it first. I've been
Yeah, Apple has added certain things to their post-production, but they don't have that tool yet. Maybe they'll get it. That's what I used, just to, it makes it easier for me. I understand it, so I was able to, I can get sharpness out of it too. There's a sharpness element within that system, so I use that a lot.
What Windows was kind enough, Microsoft took sharpness out, but and retouch, but then I've added retouch back in, so I'm hoping sharpness may appear one day.
And
One
Larry,
never knows.
which one did you say you were using, Larry?
The one that it's the Mac, the Apple.
Yeah.
It's a good tool. It's easy to use.
And I'm sorry, Larry, what tool was that you were using?
It's the one I have on my MacBook Air,
Okay.
which is the same one that they've had for years. I have had that on my old Mac, going back 15 years. They really have it. They've upgraded it a little bit.
Okay. They're
Good
very
work. Good work, Larry.
Thank you.
I think Bob's is next. Let's see. Oh no, Frank's next. Okay.
Yeah. This I took a month ago or so when I was over in Portugal, and we did a boat ride up the Porto River, and there was this building across the way. So I zoomed in on it, and it was just, I mean, when I first looked at it, I said, "What? This is utter chaos with this." With the ugly concrete interdispersed throughout it. It was an older building. It was like kind of like a throwback to, and I felt like I was in Russia or something with this building. But it definitely stood out because everything was those, the orange roofs and all that. This guy just stuck right out with it. So I think this will make a good study in architecture.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so what I did was I zoomed in, and because there was a lot of sky and stuff on the back on the sides, and I just cut those out and zoomed in on it. And yeah, see this one, this one was taken back in August, and it was 170 millimeters, 5.6 f-stop, an ISO of 200, and 1/320th of a second that was taken. But again, there was nothing I loved about the building. It was just really unique against the rest of the city.
I like that diagonal. I like the diagonal line.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
The lines were going all over the place in different angles and different directions. And I said I kind of like that. So it made a good entry for it.
And the orange awnings really help a lot. They pop it.
Yeah, it gives it a little contrast there. Against the ugly gray with the rust stains. You can see there's like stains throughout and discoloration.
But looking in the opposite direction, they probably have a pretty nice view.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, they definitely had a beautiful view of the river. Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, that's probably why they designed so many balconies on that side, because it was overlooking, right down on it.
Yeah. It does look very Russian, doesn't it? It looks like a people factory somehow.
Yeah.
Like I said, it just, when I looked at it, the word that came to my mind was utter chaos.
Still, it's an interesting shot.
Ah,
Now,
that's interesting.
this is an interesting one. This was taken back in 2017 when I still lived up in Guilford, Connecticut, and this is a condo unit that overlooks Long Island Sound, and it's got beautiful views of the sound. But I just wonder how the hell did they get this thing through with the planning? Or it looks like a spaceship that landed.
Mhm.
And I think it has, if I remember correctly, I think it's about 18 or 15 to 20 condos. In the condo on the left side of the building, that's where your garage is, and you have a stairway up into your unit. And the units, except for this one at the end, were from one side to the other. So you had windows overlooking the sound. And on the other side, there was like marshland, and you had a stairway down to your garage. But I was interested. I was going to try to go in and look at one, but none were up for sale at that point. So, you know, there was no showing, but I would love to have gotten inside to see how, what they look like. But it, you know, it's just a real long rectangular building with this huge round balcony on the one end. But I thought it
The
was,
tree to me makes that shot because it goes from the organic to the really unorganic, and the juxtaposition of the two makes it for me. Although the tree is not too healthy, but
yeah, right. Right. But, yeah, I should have looked. I don't know what time of year this picture was taken, but and also too, it's weird. It has these like steel beams that you can see over on this side, and they're interdispersed throughout the whole length of the building. So when you get on the other side where the garage doors are, you see these beams coming out the side, which made it tough when you're trying to pull into the garage. You had a steel beam right alongside you. But I just, when I remember looking at it, and I said, how, you know, this was, and nobody knew when it, that I associated, when it was built and how they got approval for it. Because it certainly clashed with the rest of the construction down there near the beach.
It'll clash with anything else anybody ever built, I think, yeah.
it reminds me of an acorn.
Yeah, I thought it was a, I don't know if anybody ever watched the Battlestar Galactica. It looked like the battleship.
It's still a good shot.
It
Yeah.
is, it's a great shot, yeah.
You've got a good perspective on it.
Yeah, because I tried to get down on the one side so I could get the depth of, you know, how long the building was, but it made for a very long photograph.
So that's not a panorama.
No, it was although I had to do something to get it to be like it. The length is like 1.8 the height, so I didn't take a panorama. I don't think I did that. Although I might have. I did. It doesn't. It's not recorded in the file info. But it was going back about what 6 years when I took this.
Very interesting, though.
It is.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Okay. This is me. I thought what I'd do is, since I haven't gotten out much lately, is go back a little bit into the archives.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm really going to be talking about more is what I didn't know when I took these pictures. And yeah, this one here is what they call the new cathedral in Cuenca, Ecuador. And a little bit of the history on it is that the plans were drawn up in 1873.
Okay.
To build this cathedral. This is the new one in Cuenca. The old one is from who knows how far back. It was started in 1885, finished in 1975. So the length that it takes, you know, to build these cathedrals, just like the one in Barcelona right now is finally finishing up, and they've been working on that for who knows how long. So it's kind of interesting. We see things go up around us, you know, houses and buildings and stuff that go up in a matter of months. And, you know, these things are a matter of centuries.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting. And what I found interesting with it is, you know, like kind of we talk about the color wheel, the complementary colors, where, you know, we have the browns and the blues and the light blues. And, you know, they obviously took a lot of thought as far as what kind of materials to use, what color it's going to be. So that's the good news. Now the bad news is, what did I do to this picture?
Mhm.
This was back in the old days. I had a G15 Power Shot, which was handheld point and shoot. I took this picture at 2.8 f-stop, an aperture of 2.8. Now, if you want something in focus at the very front of your image, as well as everything in the back, meaning your foreground, midground, and background, 2.8 doesn't sound like someplace you want to start. So obviously I had no clue what I was doing. The only thing that saved this was pure luck. What was the pure luck? Well, that G15 is a very small sensor. It's like almost like a cell phone. When you look at the data in there, it tells you that your focal length was like 4 millimeters.
Mhm.
And what it did is, because this thing was an equivalent to a 7.6 millimeter, that's a very wide angle lens, you know, and what it did is, because of that, everything was sharp. So it's a you know, it was what I didn't know that makes this sharp.
Yeah. But
And
you're
why
right.
would somebody shoot an object that obviously is not moving at 1/1600th of a second, and at an ISO that's higher than its lowest? Yeah. And the reason why I'm explaining all this is so that people can understand what my journey was in a certain way, as well as, you know, following the challenge, is that I had to learn. This was back in 2012. So we're going to jump ahead.
Yeah.
And now I've gone from having a point and shoot to a, as Frank will know, a Canon 80D. Now, this was in Cuba. And what I really liked about this was, on one side of the road and straight ahead, it's just a drab concrete. You know, the one in the front, you know, straight down the middle, looks like it was painted at one time and just in disrepair. But on the left side, it's like a freshly painted building.
Right. With color.
The old style lights that are electric now, I can kind of think of them back 100 years ago. They were probably gas lights. Fact that first and second floor has bars going across it. But then when you get up to the third floor, then people feel a little safer. What I found interesting was the lady here. She was just having a smoke out on the
Balcony.
yeah. Then above it is this whole patio. And we found that in Spain a lot. We had rented a house in Vinaro, Spain one time that was right overlooking the Mediterranean. And every one of the houses, you could go to the very top and there would be a patio up there. So it kind of feels like it follows suit with some kind of a Spanish kind of idea of how they build homes. And
Nice.
so here, this was during my journey. Okay, I shot this at 35 millimeter, which was probably right. For some reason, I shot it at 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
If I really wanted everything tack sharp, my mind would have said you have to get up to about f8. It was 1/8,000th of a second shutter speed. Not much is moving.
Yeah.
An ISO of 800. So this was probably around 2018. Oh no, this was just before Trump
So before,
shut down Cuba.
right?
We were there like a week before that it was going to be cut off. So that's going back to 2017, I'm guessing. So yeah, obviously from 2012 to this image, I learned maybe a little bit, but not a lot, as far as technique, as far as how to use my camera to get the most out of it. But again, maybe it was luck.
No,
Yeah, it's surprising that the building wasn't blown out, or that the street scene part of it wasn't just black with those settings. But the colors, the complementary, I don't know if they're complementary, but the stark colors make that picture to me.
yeah, it makes for a nice contrast in this, with the colors and I like the silhouettes of the people walking down in the front.
Yeah,
Or, just like dark images, and that adds a lot to it.
And also the woman on the balcony too, just,
Yeah,
I
it's
was
good that
wondering
she-
if she was doing more than having a smoke.
yeah. And it's good that she's, right up, against that white background. It makes her stand out.
What's interesting to wonder what that really is, because over here, it looks like a doorway.
Yeah.
But this is
Or
either
over there.
a doorway or maybe just windows. I don't know.
Yeah,
And there's
Yeah, the
some
other looks
light
like-
on in the background.
look like a doorway, and maybe it's a slider, maybe.
Yeah.
Slide to the side, you walk out, whereas the other ones are regular doors that open up. Do you remember down on the yellow building, what that thing was there? Yeah. Oh,
Some
yeah, it's like two figures.
with a drum.
Wow,
Ew.
that's interesting.
Because we also have these guys over here.
Yeah, on the wall,
Oops.
just like the founding fathers.
But the,
But that was, yeah, I was down in Cuba, I think about 3 years before you were, Bill, but that's the one thing that did jump out was all the colors on the buildings. And the cars were amazing.
mhm. Yeah, the Cubans were pretty ticked off at the time that we were down there, as far as, that the tourism was going to be cut off. And I took a picture of some of their sentiments that were painted on the side of a building.
Yeah.
It was a word plus Trump. But we got in there, like I said, about a week or two before they shut it all down.
Wow. Amazing.
And then, so we've gone from Ecuador to Cuba. Now we're going to go to Arles, France.
Wow.
We're going on our little worldwide trip here. One thing that this image did for me, it told me that I needed a wide angle lens,
Mhm.
because this was taking at 24 millimeters. This was with the D750 Nikon that I had. I probably, if I was a little smarter, I would have tried a panorama, maybe take 3 shots, even if I had to take a handheld,
Right.
and stitch them together. But I guess what I had seen at the time was this one person down here.
Yeah, I was just noticing that.
Yeah, and I must have taken about 6 or 7 images with that person down there to try to give it a feel like, they're overlooking what could be happening inside this amphitheater. And they do hold, what do they call them? With the bulls.
Bullfights.
Oh,
Yeah, bullfights. But I'm a little disoriented here. Yeah, the bullfights, but they don't kill the bulls. It's more of a tradition of having bullfighters and bulls in there, but they don't kill the bulls in
Bull.
France. Yeah.
And-
And what was also interesting is I really absorbed this place when I was in there. And a lot of the parts of the image over here, you'll see these little white markings on the edge.
Yeah,
They're numbers. They're like seat numbers. And down here, you can see that they're wooden seats.
mhm.
And up here, they're concrete. So this might have been like on an airline, this might have been first class, and this might have been, for the
Gotcha.
peasants. But one day, Vicky was wasn't walking, she was watching TV in the other room, and there was a movie on called Ronnie, or Roni, something like that. And the people were fighting. It was probably in like 1970s. And they were right in the area. I mean, I looked at the TV, I had no idea. I says, that's Arles.
Yeah.
That's in Arles, France. Yeah, it's like, and it was. It was in this actual, right in this area over here.
Wow.
So it was pretty interesting.
So Bill, was that a Roman amphitheater?
Yeah, the Romans actually built it for the French at the time because they were kind of siding with Rome versus the French. They were in kind of, I guess, a little tug of war of sorts.
Mhm.
But yeah, the thing I wish I didn't have was all these extra seats up here that were just steel.
Are they there because they're doing some, oh no, those are
No, they're seats.
seats, it's not scaffolding for.
Right.
In on it, right. And then you also got these people peering in through the gate out there.
Mhm.
This
How
is,
many people would that place hold, you know?
yeah, amazing. There's a lot.
Actually, I looked it up. And it holds between 50 and 80,000 spectators.
That many, wow.
80?
80.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a bunch
I
of
think
folks.
they'd be very intimately acquainted.
Wow.
Take a shower before you show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love this building because it was like a block away from the hotel that we stayed in the center of Arles. Yeah, and you just could walk over there and walk through it, and all underneath all this is all the catacombs where people can walk underneath and go to the different sections, and it was just an amazing place to be.
Could you go down into the catacombs?
Yeah.
Oh,
So from a technical point, this was, let's see, I think 2018 or 19. So now I'm on a D750, so I've progressed. And I shot this at 24, which was the widest I could. F8 for the depth of field. 1/500th of a second. And for some reason, the ISO at 200. So I got a little better. Yeah. From Cuenca, Ecuador to Havana to Arles, you can see that I've been learning.
Yeah.
And I like to present it this way because anybody out there that gets a little frustrated at times and they might shoot things at the wrong settings or so, don't worry about it. Learn from it.
Yeah.
And I don't make those mistakes anymore. So it just takes time and it takes a little paying attention. And
right.
That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
That's a good
Thank
point.
you.
But I love the circular motion in here.
Yeah.
Right? Just like the.
I'm dying to go back.
Yeah.
There's something about that little town. It's not a heavy touristy town. It has some Van Gogh exhibits in there and things like that. It's just a very comfortable place to be.
It is.
Yeah. Bob,
That's
with
me.
us,
Hey, This is on one of my more exotic trips. I went to Pittsburgh. So this is part of Chatham Park. It's a new pavilion they've got down there, and I just thought it was a little different. I think they've done a really nice job down there with the buildings, and so anyway, this was when I had it on aperture mode. This was f13 ISO 1050 millimeter, and 1/60th of, I'm sorry, it was 1/100th of a second, f13 ISO is 110 at
Okay,
85 millimeter. So yeah, I just thought it was something a little bit different and not far from home.
is this where they have the music on
I think so. I've
Yeah.
never been to it. Yeah, I'm
Yep,
sure
it is.
there's a big green grass area in front.
in front? That I've been there. Yeah, it's nice, really nice.
Yeah, it's just kind of a neat neat area.
They're having a band there actually this Friday. It usually gets about two or 300 people.
Yeah, they got
Really?
food
Okay.
trucks and beer trucks inside there, so you've got food. It's a great place, a great venue.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Now, what millimeter did you say you shot it at? The okay.
This was at 85.
Did you take any that might have been down around 50 or 35?
Probably not.
Okay.
You think it would have been sharper, or?
No, I'm just thinking that you might be able to show a little bit of what's in front of it.
Yeah.
To just
Yeah.
give more context of what it is.
Yeah. There was a lady at the very front of the stage, and I think you can still see her there now.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
And I kept fighting with how do I get her out of the picture? And then I just finally, I took this, but yeah, I could have taken more.
Or in Elements, you could have taken her out.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she was in there and I was torn. Well, what do I do with her?
Yeah.
I guess I left
Yeah.
her.
Because I wasn't there, because I'm just wondering what's, a little further away from there. Does it turn into grass?
Yeah,
or
it
is it-
does. And that might have been a good picture too. So, but the pavilion, I like the architecture was neat, it was modern and looked good.
Trying to figure out what this is.
I don't know if that's lights on the other side that shine towards the stage or what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. They seem pretty big for lights, I get, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I didn't want to disturb the woman on the stage.
Wow, she was in your way.
She's in your way. Disturb her.
I think she might have been drawing.
Yeah.
Is what I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. She might be
Either
little.
that or morning prayers. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Was she facing east?
I don't know. It could be.
Might have tried to take the lamppost on the right out.
Yeah. Even if if you cropped in and took the lamppost and the stop sign and the street sign out, just came down in front of it.
Could have done that. Yeah.
Or-
that's
Or
true.
just again retouched, removed it using some processing.
Could have done that. Yeah.
Mm.
But it is an interesting building.
Yeah, it
Structure.
is.
It's not a building, but
A good clear shot
Good.
again. That's interesting.
And this is, as you can see, Chatham
Oh.
Park.
oh yeah.
And this is another one. I just thought I like the steel. I think they've done some interesting things with the buildings there. And so that was I had it on aperture mode, f13, ISO 1000, 58 millimeter, and 1/60th of a second.
Yeah, but you're right about, you've got the wood in there, you've got brick, you've got steel, all kinds of building materials throughout this.
Yeah, yeah, I just thought it was kind of different.
Your angle is good
Yep.
when you're clear from close to distant.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I
gonna-
think it's a little fuzzy up at top on the left. Looks a little fuzzy to me above Chatham, above the sea. Yeah.
But that's no big deal. That's just the edges, which
Yeah.
now, Bob, I gotta ask you,
Yep.
did you put this in Photoshop Elements?
You know,
Did you?
because I was out sick for a couple weeks, I completely jumped over it. No, I did not.
The only thing, and I keep saying this, and I know I'm, just saying it all the time, is to try that function in Photoshop Elements, the haze reduction.
Yeah.
Do you think that would have helped for
Yep.
this?
I mean, that's one of the few things in Photoshop Elements that I actually use almost. I at least try it almost every time. Because you can look at it before and after, and you can say, no, I don't want it, or I do want it. But it just sometimes adds that little bit of contrast, that little saturation that just makes it just that much better.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason I skipped over everything.
Yeah.
We're going to tattoo haze reduction on your forehead under where it says cut off image stabilization.
Say that again.
It's for Bill. We're going to tattoo haze
Oh,
reduction on his forehead under where it
Yeah.
says if you're using a tripod, cut off image stabilization.
yeah, I think I could use that too.
Bill, maybe show the other one first. Okay.
Oh,
I'll explain the relationship. So this was taken actually a year ago while I was in Greece. And this is at the Acropolis in Greece. And these are what's called caryatids of, well, I won't pronounce the other word, but anyway, they're holding up this structure at the Acropolis, and they're facing the Parthenon. So these are what were considered 6 sisters, and each one of them is unique, even though they don't appear to be. So I did some straightening, and I did some cropping, and I probably did use haze reduction.
Mhm.
This was taken with my PowerShot G7X f8 1/640th of a second ISO 125, and I used the zoom. My little point and shoot has a zoom, so it's 36.8 millimeters. So
Mhm.
I was really far away when I took this.
what f-stop?
8.
Mhm.
It's amazing. They're holding this thing up with just their heads and not using their arms. That's good.
Yeah.
But now it's interesting. Wow.
I was
need
kind
to
of
get over there sometime.
Yeah, I was intrigued by this. So I took the shot even though I was far, far away.
Yeah.
Well, it's still perfectly clear.
Yeah, clear and sharp focus. It'd be nice.
And that G7 Mark II, I think, is like what they call a 1-inch sensor, so. The
Great, it looks like you
did a
had the
good
sun.
job of capturing this.
Huh? What was that, Bill?
No, it did a great job of capturing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've used those power shots and I was even thinking about picking up another one for maybe the Panama trip, instead of bringing the Z8, because some of them are just so good in a pinch like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Last-
Susan said, this was far away. Yeah.
very far away, and they're good. I take them when I'm traveling. Yeah.
And it's nice, you had the sun, I guess from over on the right side coming in on them, but it's not blown out at all.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, that's a good
Good.
shot.
Yeah, see, look how much detail is in the stones.
And plus, this is cropped too, right, Susan?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's cropped a little bit. Yeah. Okay, well, now you can see the other one and I'll explain it. And I don't even know if I should have submitted, but I did.
Yeah, I'm dying to get the connection.
Okay. So this is a tree that Duke Power, actually, I shot this on Sunday and this tree is no longer there. I think it was a lightning struck tree and all the leaves on top were dead. And so Duke Power is doing stuff in our neighborhood now, putting in new poles, so they were willing to cut trees down. And so this tree had all these leaves on top and they were slowly cutting it. And I was kind of intrigued by this and looked at the thing on the right side of the picture is almost like a head looking up to the sky.
Yeah.
And what I said to Bill when I sent it, that it was like this figure was holding up the sky,
Yeah.
where the other ones were these women statues holding up the
Building.
building. It almost looked to me, and the sky was pretty blue. I did do haze reduction, but I don't know. I was just intrigued by this. It looks like a figure holding up the sky. So I don't know what you all think about this picture.
I see what you're talking about. It does look like to me, it looks like a horse's head looking up and then.
Oh,
holding
yeah,
up.
you're right. Yeah, that I see.
Yeah, and there's his ear.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know. What do you think? Is this a
I
picture
like
worth?
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly sharp. Which camera were you using?
This was my SL2, the Rebel.
Mhm.
The
Okay,
Canon
wow.
Rebel. Yeah, and it was at hang on, at f8 ISO 100, 1/25 of a second and 55 millimeters.
Now look how clear it is.
This looks like our dog Maggie. There's her nose, her mouth, her eyes, and she has curly hair, so.
Right, yeah.
That's what I just looked at it, and first I took it with my iPhone, and then I thought, and it just intrigued me, and then I thought, well, I'm going to go back and use my Canon Rebel to take a real picture of it. Anyway, okay, well, so it's not a throwaway. I was wondering if you all.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
To me, there's almost like a torso of a woman in that too.
In the bottom part, yeah.
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 With a huge arm.
Not just the torso, I guess, but the below the hip, the waist and the hips, and
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
maybe even somebody's face in the crotch of the tree. I think that one's interesting.
When you get an image that you can talk so much about it, I guess it's kind of a success.
Yeah.
Thank you. I sometimes get upset. Like I was kind of obsessed with this. That's kind of what happens sometimes to me. So I'm glad you are appreciating it too and not thinking it was. Anyway.
I would
No,
have
it
been
looks like
tempted
Father
to maybe,
Christmas or something with a man with a beard.
yeah,
It looks like lots of stuff in that tree trunk.
I would have been tempted maybe to try taking down the highlights and taking up the shadows a little bit. I don't know if I would have liked it better or worse, but since I often can't decide on those things, sometimes it's fun for me to be able to play with that a little bit, and you can, do a kind of compare and contrast that way.
Mhm.
All right. Boom, boom.
Okay, that's mine. From the bell tower at late afternoon. I'll give you the exit info. I don't have that with that shot. I played a lot using the filters and the enhancements that we were talking about earlier, trying to get the parallax and the keystoning and all of that out of that.
Yeah.
And over on the left, I didn't get all of it out. It didn't perfectly perpendicular, but I have found that Elements does have 3 different ways to get the keystoning and the distortion and whatever you want to call it out of a photograph. And I used just one on that one. It's under enhancements. I can't remember. It says camera distortion. You go in through camera distortion.
Yeah.
And I did get that finally reasonably lined up.
Mhm.
Took out a few blemishes and rough spots. I don't think I played any with the ceiling. The ceiling kind of reflected on its own, its tile.
Nice colors on the tile, or the reflections, I guess, from like.
Yeah, the
I guess-
shadows are nice.
I like the lines.
And the shadow lines.
Yeah.
Across, across the bottom there.
Yeah.
Even out into grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
I
the
might
shadows are
still-
what really make it an interesting picture. That's
Yeah.
it's like it's its own architecture.
I might play with it a little bit more with one of the other 2 ways to get the distortion out and see if I can correct on the left. But I guess it's good enough. It took me forever to get to that point. By that time, I was ready to chew nails. So.
Wow.
Now that one, actually, I sent the wrong one. Of course, you realize that this is part of the construction of the church at Southern Village, and it should be flipped. But I could never get the distortion off on that piece that leads from the point into the circle. I could never get that straight, and it just irritated me. So I was playing, and it was less evident when I flipped it. And I really should have sent the one where it's not quite straight. It's due to the fact that I guess that I just wasn't quite dead center on the element that I was shooting. But anyway, it's incredibly cropped, and I've messed with the camera distortion on that, trying to get the angles right, and gave up.
And you say that's the church at Southern Village?
Right.
Yeah, that's a nice church, nice looking
Uh-huh.
structure at that church.
Yeah, but that, of course, should be flipped over on its side. But it even on that side gives you a kind of an odd abstract.
A different viewpoint.
Mhm.
Now, was it when it was taken? Was that I sort of like that, pointing up, is that what it was doing, or,
Yes,
okay,
Let's see, can I?
I think it's better that it's not too symmetrical.
Yeah.
It has a kind of a dynamic quality because of that.
that makes me feel better because I was trying to get each one of those legs or arms or whatever cropped at the same point and get that other element straight, and it just didn't want to straighten.
no, that's great.
And let me say something here, Helen, about this one too, is that when I was getting images, I was looking at some of them, and I looked at this one and I put it through a sharpen program, and the sharpen program didn't make much difference. You know, you often talk about your eyes and not being able to see things. This one's actually for the work and the cropping and everything that you did on it, it's actually pretty darn sharp.
It is,
It is. Looks good.
even with my bad eyes, it looks nice and sharp.
Every once in a while, I get a sharp one. I don't know why. Betty and I went down to the lake this weekend, and I got a shot that should have been perfectly sharp, and it didn't. And we're gonna play. She's gonna take pictures with my camera and see if it could be either my lenses or, anyway, she's gonna do some fiddling around with it.
Whoa,
Oh, that's cool.
wow.
This is a Tom Marriott special. I took I took this with a film camera that's in Charleston, and I think you know that all of my slides had mildewed, and when I began to play with it, I couldn't retrieve everything that I wanted to retrieve. So I took that and did a screen snip, put it in Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word has a pictures section that has a number of preset filters. And that one is the watercolors filter.
Wow.
And I just like to play with pictures that may have flaws, like, you know, me and I can't handhold, or in this case, do. And you can come up with some really kind of unique art pieces. And it's fun to do.
I didn't realize you could do that in Word.
It's right there in Word.
Yeah.
If you import a picture and then click on it, it'll take you to a different area called pictures, I think. Yeah, pictures. And you can go across the menu bar at the top, and eventually I'll show anybody that's interested next time, but you can do all sorts of stuff. My sister gets carried away with that. She comes up with some odd pictures that I tell her look like the insides of intestines, but that one I thought came out really well.
It did. A nice painting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But just playing there, just being Tom.
I don't know. Let's see if we're.
Oh,
Now that we actually had gotten to the end. This was one I was contemplating sending in, sending to myself. This is in Cincinnati, where we used to live, and this one side of this fairly new building was all glass, and this Fifth Third building in the back, it's a bank building, was one of the first so-called skyscrapers in Cincinnati. So this
Right.
was one that, you know, it kind of shows the new and the old as far as architecture goes. And
well, definitely, I loved how that glass distorts that view of the other building. and it makes it surreal.
Where'd you
Mhm.
take it? How high were you when you took that shot?
Well, I was in the tallest building, the Carew Tower in Cincinnati, which is, I think is only about 40 stories tall. And it was kind of aiming down. So,
Did you have to shoot through glass, or were you outside when you were
oh,
doing?
it was outside.
Okay,
Yeah, this was in 2012 or 13, because I remember we had the foreign student from Russia
Mhm.
living with us, and we both went up there. And this was back in the days, still when I was using that G15, the little handheld advanced point and shoot.
right, really.
I like that picture. It, the distortion, like Frank says, above the green roof is amazing. It makes that building look like
Yeah, I
it's,
think
It makes it look like a painting.
yeah. There's a lot to see in that picture.
let's see. Yeah, I think we got through it. The only other one I had hanging out here was this one, if you can see it. Whoops. Where did I go? I lost it.
Yeah, well, are we gonna pull up another one? Cause
I just wondered, can you see this one at all?
No,
No,
this
we're
Cincinnati.
the, one of the building.
Let's see, I'm gonna,
Oh,
Oh,
there.
yeah. Oh, that's cool.
let's see that one, but I actually cropped it down to this.
Yeah.
This was in Amsterdam. And what I found kind of interesting, number one, is that, the water in front of it. And it's like, where are any of these doors, and why would they be? Yeah. And it all seems kind of architecturally new. But then when you see up here,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got-
1740. So part of this must have been built, and then they probably built onto it or so.
yeah.
But yeah,
That water is awfully close.
Yeah, that's
these
too
are
close
doors.
for
Look at the
me.
door handle.
Well, I guess the boats, that's a piling, so boats must come up and they can
Pull
get
up
out
to
of the, maybe they have gondolas there like they do in Venice.
Yeah, it should have been there the day that the Carnival Cruise Line came in.
Yeah.
So I'm currently reading a book on composition, and the guy would have said, what if you had shot not straight on, but at an angle down? Would that have made it less flat?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I kept trying to choose which ones that I was planning to use as we went along, and this was
Good
to
pick.
me interesting because this seems so new, but then when you see 1740 up there, like, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, bam. We're back.
All right.
Are there any announcements?
I'm not aware of any that, you know. But I know, Bill, you mentioned about getting together tomorrow at 10. I'm heading down there. I'll be there.
Mhm. I'll try to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I have a doctor's appointment, so I can't stay long, but I'll be there a minute or two.
So,
I have
I won't be able to attend.
a car appointment.
Yeah.
And also, we're gonna just, Frank, you in fact had a whole list of possible places that we might want to go more than just Yates Mill.
Yeah, I'll get that list out and bring it down with me tomorrow. Just,
Okay.
I can print them out and just pass them around.
Mhm.
I gotta
That'd be
remember
good.
where I put it, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And where was the, Stephen, you went somewhere interesting with you sent the mushroom shots. Where were you then?
With what shots, please? I just didn't hear it.
The mushroom shots that you
Oh, the
sent.
mushroom shots. That was over in High Point. There's a Piedmont Environmental Center there.
Uh-huh.
And I wouldn't particularly suggest going there. You know, it's nice enough, but there are similar places much closer that
Harris Teeters, they have mushrooms.
yeah, there's no, they even have it packaged up for you. You don't have to worry. But I do a lot of kind of hiking around the area. And if we get the list, I'd be happy to put some places that I think, you know, are local places that people would enjoy.
Definitely.
You're right now, just as if you're interested in fall migratory birds, Ebenezer Point on Jordan Lake is a good spot, as is Brumley North in Chapel Hill. But with Ebenezer Point, you know, you'll be shooting with, you know, maybe 20 plus people out there who are peering up into the persimmon tree to try to catch a little bird.
So this is a good time.
I'm sorry.
Is that near where that Ebenezer Church is? Is that out on that point? I went by it the other day. We were coming back from, I forget where it was, and I saw the church.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I guess that
Beaver.
sort of shows what our priorities are. I have no idea where Ebenezer Church is. But
On Beaver Creek Road.
Yeah, that's where it was, right, yeah.
If you go straight down Barrington Point, cross 64, that's Beaver.
right, yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, and Ebenezer's down there.
It was a nice church.
Yeah, it's a beautiful church.
I wish I had seen it when we had the church
Churches.
subject, you know, that would have been good to put in.
One thing they do at the holidays is put out the luminary, the candles around that church. It's beautiful.
Oh,
It will
nice.
make a gorgeous picture.
Hmm.
I don't know when, but they do have them out there.
Yeah, candlelight is not out, you know, until February 13th or so.
Mm.
Yeah, the next meeting is sports and action photography.
Have to get creative.
That's right. That's true.
Alrighty. Anything else? Otherwise, see some of you tomorrow.
Yep.
See you tomorrow.
Anybody can make it.
I know Chuck's going to be there. He mentioned that he was going to show up. So
Good.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
See you guys.
Hopefully
adios.
tomorrow.
Bye.
I'll
Bye-bye.
email you the video and the recording.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
The YouTube.
Well, it's the recording from this. I didn't know, you know, how to do the YouTube. I know, how do you get to, like, when Mike does that recording, does he put it on YouTube right away, or?
Yeah.
Well, he has the file right on his computer.
Okay.
When I did it one time, I had to use something like Google Drive or something, put it out there, and he picked it up and he went through some process to create the thumbnail and then upload it.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's he and I that have the so-called administrative.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. This
Okay.
one's separate, but it is what I generate. It is a recording, but it's also, you pop it and you can see all of us on the screen.
And it's
Yeah.
gonna be about 200 megabytes.
Yeah, I know, it's gonna be a big one.
Yeah, why don't you hold off on that?
I'll
When-
hold it, and I'll save it, and I'll have it.
Yeah, when will Mike and Lynn
Yeah,
be returning? Is it a 2-week trip?
No clue.
no, I don't know when they headed over. But it was interesting, when I sent out that email about that park, whatever, and I'm gonna go to in the beginning of December, that first weekend of December, because they'll be decorated at that point. And he said,
Mhm.
oh, we will be able to make it, because we'll be leaving that night before, which I said, wow, they've already left. So I said, that's, unless they're going on another trip.
They are. Stop
Oh, okay.
recording. Yeah, stop recording so the three of us could talk for a minute on the